Good morning. This is the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Monday, October 17th. We've finished our uh, daily fire season briefings. For here on in during the off season, we will, on Mondays and Wednesdays, update you on the general weather, especially geared towards prescribed fire and smoke dispersion. So looking at precipitation the past 7 days, you can see dry just about across the entire Great Basin, maybe about a couple hundredths or a tenth of an inch in the far south and southeast of the Great Basin in Utah. You can see, but overall, much drier than normal, near 0% of normal precipitation for the Great Basin for the entire week. You can see how much wetter it has been down south. Good news for them. Our fuels here have dried out quite a bit. So our 100-hour fuels, you can see them here in the 6 to 10% range, which is quite dry for this time of year. And if you are with a strong wind event, there's even still a potential of large fire, and definitely don't want to burn with these dry fuel conditions if there is a strong dry wind event. We don't see one in the coming days, though. And even our 1,000-hour fuels, you can see them here in the golden shade. They are the darker gold shade. They are in the upper single digits, even up here in parts of Idaho. So that especially telling of how dry it has been the last 7 to 10 days, and maybe even longer in some areas. And that is all due to this large ridge of high pressure settled in across the entire Great Basin, really for the last 2 weeks or so, steering any storms right along the California and Pacific Northwest coast, up and over us, and into the eastern half of the country. And that pattern's going to hold for a while. So we see that today. Um, we do see that we have high pressure continuing over northern Idaho. You can see how many areas here in our 7-day fire potential we still run in the off season. We are in the moderately dry yellow category, very hard, almost impossible to get brown once you get from late October onwards. But you can see where things are still kind of moist, or there's new grass growth from all the monsoonal precipitation this past summer. You can see that the relative humidity, minimum relative humidity this afternoon, in the low to mid teens in parts of Idaho. Same thing in parts of Nevada, in the 20s elsewhere. On the left, though, transport winds, as you'd expect under high pressure, very light, especially up in the north. The vertical mixing heights during the peak heating hours actually pretty good. In the yellow to orange, still seeing things about 3 to 6,000 feet above ground level, so that's pretty good news for burning. Same thing, high pressure still in control, almost the same type of pattern, same type of humidity here on the right-hand side, and also similar wind patterns, very light and variable and slope driven. Good overall vertical mixing in most areas as well. Very little changes on Wednesday. The high pressure flattens out just a little bit, watching a weak low well off the California coast. No big changes to the 7-day. Humidity, no big changes either. Still dry, especially in western areas, northern areas, even drying out a bit across parts of southern Utah into the mid teens. Again, winds overall fairly light. There could be some breezy afternoon winds along the Sierra front that could be gusting to near 20. That is just about it, though. Vertical mixing heights looking pretty good. Now, the 3-day precipitation totals bone dry across the area. We go down into the extended on Thursday. Again, very dry, but we don't have that big ridge of high pressure. There's a weak cold front pushing through Idaho. It's going to lower temperatures a little bit. You can see the 7-day very dry in a lot of areas. But then on Friday, we do see a large plume of moisture associated with a storm system well up into central and northwest Canada. And this low and this cold front is going to bring a sharp change in the pattern. By Saturday, it drops down. We should see a 20 to 40 degree drop in temperatures as we go into the early part of the weekend, with rain and mountain snow, as the air will be cold enough with this system as we go into Saturday and into Sunday through Idaho, much of Nevada, much of Utah, far western and southwestern Nevada may escape without seeing much precipitation, but they'll see cooler temperatures and an increase in humidity, and also an increase in northwest winds. But overall, a sharp change to cooler weather and more moist conditions. So if you want to burn, you want to get it done by Friday. This is the precipitation of days 4 and 5. So this is Thursday afternoon through Saturday afternoon. You can see most of this will probably come in Saturday. Half-inch amounts up into the mountains of central Idaho, tenth to a quarter inch over northern Nevada, and some stuff getting into Utah by late Saturday. And then day 6 and 7, significant precipitation across many areas, especially in Utah. Rain and mountain snow probably, as snow levels will probably drop to near 6,000 feet or maybe even locally lower towards the tail end of the storm. This is the 7-day precipitation total, most of this coming in the last 2 days. And the long range prognosis, 8 to 14 day, this takes us from October 24th through the 30th. That cooler than normal and wetter than normal pattern will continue. So, again, if you want dryness to get your burns in, you probably want to get it done this week before close of business Friday. And this concludes our briefing. We'll talk to you again on Wednesday. Have a great day.